company that claims to have a solution to the colossal toll that Nvidia exacts on anyone who wants a piece of the AI action. Chinese outfit, DeepSeek, apparently has figured out a way to get much more of each Nvidia chip, get much more out of it.
Jim Cramer examines the significant impact of DeepSeek's claims about enhancing Nvidia's chip efficiencies, which lead to Nvidia's largest single-day market capitalization loss and a broader decline in AI-related stocks. Despite a nearly 30% drop in Nvidia stock, Cramer notes that some stocks are returning to previous trading levels, suggesting that the declines may not be as severe as they seem. He expresses uncertainty about the future of Nvidia and related companies, indicating potential buyer's remorse among investors.
Maybe all the cooling process expenses are a big mistake? Maybe the rush to reopen old nuclear plants and put up more renewable generation and even bring back coal? Totally unnecessary? Today, the air went out of every one of these balloons. Nvidia's decline was the biggest shock, with the stock plummeting 17%. It was breathtaking. The single largest loss in a day of market capitalization in history. Wait a second. The second largest single-day loss? Well, that was also Nvidia. I mean, it looks like it has a habit of getting clobbered. But then there's also a habit of people coming in and buy the dip. Will it happen again? If there are more revelations about DeepSeek doing much more with less, fewer Nvidia chips, more compute, then Nvidia stock is unfortunately not done going down. Though, I will say the pin action off this Chinese outfit did more than just knock over Nvidia. We saw stocks like GE Vernova, the builder of so many power plants that are needed for these big data centers, just get hammered, falling nearly 22%. We saw a huge collapse in the merchant utilities, the ones with clean nuclear power, like Vistra Energy, Constellation, which dropped 28%, 21% respectively. So buying opportunity, selling opportunity? How about a do-nothing opportunity? Because I just don't know. As always, I told Investor Club open hand, right, what I'd be doing with the Travel Trust, but I didn't really have all that much to say because Nvidia didn't have much to say. Now, Nvidia, in a way, tried to help out in a positive, I guess, way, where the release said, quote, DeepSeek is an excellent AI advancement and perfect example of test time scaling, end quote. They also said that you still need significant numbers of Nvidia GPUs and high-performance networking to make it happen. Reassuring? I don't know. Certainly not enough to get in front of this speeding freight train. All aboard! We do know one thing. Every time anything bad happens to Nvidia, you can bet all the negatives will be out there in full force, along with those who think that the benefit from DeepSeek's open source AI offering are going to move away or don't need as much Nvidia power. Salesforce, for example, has pretty much called this a tectonic shift in the AI world from hardware, which CEO Mark Benioff now calls a bit of a commodity, to software as a service companies like Salesforce, which are proprietary and can interrogate the data and create real value. Hey, the market ate it up. Salesforce word today, almost 4%. And a lot of it was the stuff that Mark was tweeting. I wasn't alone, Xing. I wasn't alone. I'm feeling a little lost here. Apple stock rallied. I mean, ostensibly because they can now buy cheaper AI. Meta Platforms, even as it already spent billions on Nvidia chips, took off because of a belief that it won't need to spend that much more money in the future. But Oracle, Microsoft, and Alphabet, they got crushed. And yet, they're also gigantic buyers of Nvidia's chips. Should they've all gone up like Meta or down? I don't know. It's part of the confusion. And the real quandary is, why did Nvidia say that it's become much more of a software company and that you need the hardware to run their software? It also would have been good to find out how many chips DeepSeek is really using. But it isn't. Think about it. If it was a lot, right, then our government would simply ban all Nvidia exports to China. What a high-risk situation. If you're Nvidia, you're really in a jam here. See, if DeepSeek really didn't need many chips to make its generative AI platform work, that could be very negative for the Nvidia story, because then you don't have to order as many chips. But if it turns out that DeepSeek had hundreds of thousands of chips, like the American hyperscalers, then you'd have to believe the new president would make it much harder for Chinese companies to buy anything else. Whew. Now, how about all these energy and data center stories? Well, these were overheated. Stocks like Constellation, CEG, not the STZ kind, or Vistra, or Vertiv, the power system creator, or for the data center, or GE Vernova, which makes the turbines. These are all part of the quandary, because their stocks were up so much going into today that you could argue that today's hideous declines are barely even meaningful. Sure, Vistra was down almost 30% today, but that just means it's back to trading where it was in mid-December. I don't know. When something is that hard, when you really don't know the answer, you got to do something that's very alien. You have to sit on your hands, and you have to say, that one is too hard for me to figure out right now. For example, not that long ago, we sold some Broadcom for the Charitable Trust, with much higher than where it went out today. If this one stabilizes, I think it might be a buy because they have a ton of business away from the data center, and after this decline, the stock's no longer expensive. However, I don't know. I mean, it could be a freight train. How about the world of Arista Networks and Marvell Technologies? They fell 22% and 19% respectively. They're very good companies. But again, they're up so much that I don't know where the owners, what are they going to do tomorrow? Maybe the owners said, hey, look, maybe a group of analysts downgrade all these stocks. These DeepSeek revelations happened so quickly that many analysts didn't even have time to assess the situation. Of course, the money that streams out of these hot stocks has to go somewhere, right? And today it was flowed into something that had been pretty cold. So we got these absurd moves into the consumer packaged goods place like Procter & Gamble, or the retailers like Walmart and Costco. I mean, Charitable Trust was Costco, but come on. These kinds of explosive moves are totally mystifying to me, even as they were terrific for my Charitable Trust. Nothing's happening to these companies. Nothing. It's just sector rotation. So what the heck are we supposed to do here? Take some Costco stock and sell it because of irrational exuberance? Just enjoy the win? I don't know. Believe me, it is tough enough to figure out whether to say to people, okay, Apple's up huge, and that's a big overreaction. I don't need to opine on Costco. All that said, the real issue is the former largest company in the world, Nvidia, and whether numbers now have to come down because there will be a freeze in spending as clients reassess those multi-billion-dollar orders. Maybe it'll be like the pause in the internet build out of 2000 that turned out not to be a pause at all, but a collapse. At what point is that loss built in? Honestly, we don't even know if there'll be a loss. But there have been so many people saying that Nvidia run is too much, it's over. I mean, it was all about momentum, perfection, and dominance. But the momentum, perfection, and dominance have now been called into question. Bottom line, I have no view on DeepSeek yet because we just don't know enough. Sometimes you have to do the hardest thing in the world. And we play with an open hand on this show. We got to wait. We got to wait until we know more rather than taking knee-jerk action and pretending that we know the answers.